Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. No, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
I can. Can you hear me?
Perfectly. Oh, real quick, side note, I'm actually already recording, just so you know.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
before we begin, let me just go ahead and say that everyone is wishing you well and sending their thoughts and prayers. And thank you
Thank
again
you.
for letting us ask you these questions that we don't get to ask anyone. So yeah.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
No problem. So let's go ahead and get started here. Go ahead and, if you don't mind, saying your first name, how old you are, and what you do for a living.
Sure. My name is Victoria. I'm 23 years old and I am a cameraman in the Army.
Hey, nice. So where are you now, Victoria?
I'm currently in Camp Humphreys, Korea.
Cool.
It's like I think the largest military like overseas base. And then I'm in the isolation barracks. That's what they call it.
How long have you been in that isolation thing?
This is day 41.
Wow.
Yeah, tomorrow marks 6 weeks in this lovely room.
There, are they treating you well in there?
They are. The nurses are so sweet. I feel like it's a very like nurturing environment. They've definitely tried to accommodate the patients like as much as they can.
That's awesome. So, let me go ahead and get into some of the questions that the audience was asking. And Joe from the States wanted to know what were your symptoms?
Sure. Um, so for the first 2 weeks that I had, it was mostly just extreme fatigue. I would sleep like probably 16 to 20 hours a day. It felt kind of like mono and the flu combined. I couldn't taste or smell, had a cough, shortness of breath. Um, the only thing I haven't experienced was a fever, but I did have chills for about a month. And then as the third week approached, I had a really rapid heartbeat and they couldn't figure that out. My resting heart rate would be like 140, and they just had no idea why. And then also during the third week, I started getting rashes like all over my body, my legs, my face. Um, and then by the fourth week, a lot of that went down, and mostly I've just been kind of tired since then, but my taste has come back, so that's super awesome.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, that's pretty much the bulk of the symptoms.
Wow, wow. Okay, cool. Um, Someone else wanted to know, what would you say convinced you to go in and get checked? Like, what was kind of like, all right, I should probably go in now.
So there was a contract worker at the office that I work in, and he was confirmed positive. Um, so I called the hotline, but they said because I wasn't showing any symptoms that I didn't need to get tested. But the following days after, I started feeling super tired, lightheaded, um, and I was honestly so afraid of being quarantined. So I didn't want to go in and get tested. I thought my immune system was super strong. I was like, oh no, I would never get it. I almost didn't even believe that it existed really. And then it wasn't until I went in one morning and my NCO was just like, you do not look good. And so he convinced me to go get tested because I was just visibly not myself, like not mentally all there. So I really just needed someone to like, tell me to go get tested. Um, I wasn't trying to be negligent and like expose anyone to it. I just like genuinely, didn't think I had it. So yeah, he sent me and then they came back with the test results pretty instantly and were like, yeah, you're overwhelmingly positive. And it's crazy because I have been the only soldier since my time of being infected. in all of Korea with it. The rest of the cases the past 6 weeks have all been contract workers or dependents. So
I
yeah,
see.
that's
Wow. Wow. Um, I'm glad that NCO was able to to look out for you in that way. So that's awesome.
me too.
So would you say it was difficult for you to get tested?
No, I think because I'm on a military base, uh, they are being so cautious and so urgent about it. So they actually put me in quarantine before the test results came back because they didn't want to take any chances on anyone being positive, being let free, and then spreading it. As soon as they saw that I was showing symptoms, um, really the hotline was super quick to answer. They told me to go to a tent that was connected to this hospital, and they were very quick to do everything. So I really think it's just due to maybe the military base. I don't know how it is off base.
Mm.
I was off base one time since being here in Korea, and I looked out one of the windows, and there was a line out of the pharmacy that was just like wrapped around buildings down the street to get tested for COVID. So I think off base is definitely different than on base.
I see. Wow, that's definitely interesting. Can you tell us what the testing procedure was like? Like, what did they do, or anything like that, if you don't mind?
Sure. Basically, they take, it looks like a long Q-tip that's like maybe 7 or 8 inches long. And they stick it all the way up to your nose until they hit literally as far up as they can go. And they got to swish it around and then do the other nostril.
Oh no, wow, I don't think I could do that at all. Wow.
Yeah,
Oh.
it is not pleasant at all.
Since you have been in there for so long, could you go through what your daily routine is like? Like, what does someone wants to know? What are you doing on your spare time, being isolated like that?
Sure. So yeah, the first 2 weeks since I was so fatigued, it seems kind of like it was all blur. Like I really slept through most of it. Um, the nurses will come and check my vitals every 3 to 4 hours at every mealtime, and then sometimes between those meal times, and then right before it's time to the quiet hours. So um, really the first few weeks it just seemed like I was waking up every time the nurses came to check my vitals, and then I was like off back to sleep. Since regaining my energy, I've really spent a lot of time um, just kind of trying to ground myself and like my faith. So I've spent a lot of time reading the word, listening to podcasts, things that didn't take a whole lot of energy that I felt was still productive. And then this is the 6th week. I feel my best I have so far. So I've
That is
been binge
awesome.
watching Netflix shows at night. I've been, FaceTiming my best friends and family and just kind of enjoying like this time that I don't have any obligations.
Someone wanted to know, are you allowed to receive any food or things from outside? Like, can people send you stuff? Are you able to get, like, if you texted somebody for a Burger King, could they drop it off to you or anything like that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
They they'll just drop it off by the nurses, and the nurses have brought me my mail. Um, there is one lady that I've only met one time at the gym, and when she found out that I had it for 3 weekends straight, she brought me Starbucks and just
Oh,
surprised
wow.
me. So it was so sweet and thoughtful, and I was like, wow, like I barely know her, and she, was just this total stranger, just this simple act of kindness, but it made me feel really special.
Walter wanted to know, again, only if you don't mind answering, did you have any underlying previous medical issues?
So, geez, a few years ago, I had an autoimmune disease. So it was another virus that is called Epstein-Barr.
Mm-hmm.
most people get it when they're children, and it kind of manifests in the form of mono, which so a lot of people kind of know what that is. But yeah, 50% of 5-year-olds have the virus, and when you're that young, it's easier to fight it off. I was not so lucky. I was, I think, 20, 19 or 20 when I got that virus, and I was sick for about 11 months. So really, after that time period, I haven't been sick, like really at all. Like rarely the past few years have I ever even gotten a hint of a cold. So I'm not sure if that's considered an underlying medical issue.
Yeah, honestly, I have no clue. I wish I knew more about medical stuff. But
Me too.
I don't know enough to debate you. So I'm gonna go with yeah. That sounds like that's
Yeah.
cool.
And
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yes.
the only other thing I can think of is I had a TBI a few months ago.
Mm,
And so ever since then, I haven't quite been myself. I've recovered a lot. I don't, I don't know, it changed like my mood. It affected my hormones. So I don't know, it might have affected my immune system too. I don't know.
what's your opinion on people who are kind of like bragging about going around and like oh, I don't have to stay indoors. I don't care who I get sick or anything like that. As someone who is tested positive, or do you think it's something that it should be taken seriously or not? Or yeah.
Um, I do think that people should take it seriously, just to be considerate of like our older generations or like the more at risk people. I think it's, I think it's worth like sucking it up for a little bit, um, to protect these other people. There's ways you can go out and still be considerate. Like my family back home, I have 3 small siblings with my mother, and for her it's so hard to have these 3 little kids cooped up in the house 24/7. So she's found ways to get them outside where they're not exposing other people, so they're still practicing that social distancing,
Sure.
but still getting that daily vitamin D, getting their energy out. So I think there's ways to make it work.
What's the criteria for you to be like set free?
Really, I just have to have 2 consecutive negative tests.
Okay.
So they've been swabbing me every 72 hours. And then once I get a negative test, so I actually got my first negative yesterday. They just told me an hour
Hey,
ago. Yeah.
congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. So they instantly re-swabbed me. So they told me that in the past there has been patients where they'll be negative and then they'll be positive the next one.
Mhm.
So they're like, oh, don't get your hopes up too much,
Okay.
but I'll still take it.
Yeah, absolutely. We will take every win that we can get, no matter how small it is. So that's awesome. And
Thank you.
yeah, please keep us posted on that. Because we would love to be able to, at least see a picture of you outside or something like that.
Okay.
Speaking of outside, we're actually almost to the bottom of the list here. Thanks again for your time. What do you miss most about the outside world?
So for the first 31 days, we weren't allowed outside because they didn't know how to safely like contain us. They just don't want to take any risks. So I really just dreamt of the sunshine. I love running. So all I've been dreaming of is just like going on a run, in like nice weather. Is my favorite thing about Okinawa was just the seawall runs. Every day on my lunch break or before work, it was like what brought me like such peace. Um, and then also, of course, just like human interaction. Um, it's because even in here, yeah, I see the nurses every day, but they come in like full hazmat suits, and I've never even seen like their full faces. So it's like kind of feel like I'm in a movie and just like alienated. Like, am I a freak of nature?
When you are set free, what do you think is the first thing you're going to do?
Um, Goodness, people have asked me this so much, and
Yeah.
it's almost overwhelming to think about it because I've been in here for so long. I'm like, I'm not afraid of the outside world, but I just feel like there's gonna be so much like stimulus or stimuli, and I'm like, man, how am I gonna like transition back to like the complete opposite?
Sure.
Um, so I'm probably just gonna go on a run because I know that brings me peace. Listen to some good music and just enjoy that freedom.
Well, V, I think that's all the questions I had for you. Do you have any like final thoughts to share or any other experiences you'd like to share with us or anything like that before we conclude here?
Jeez, maybe just that like a lot of people might think like this whole corona pandemic like victimizes people, and like it's not fun being sick or isolated, but I really can't complain about my situation because I'm still getting paid. And I know that there's like, families back in the States or people who are laid off. They have to provide for themselves or their families and that are probably just really struggling with this. And so I don't have that stressor. Like besides just like being a little freaked out about like a taboo virus, um, I I I can't say that I'm a victim or that my situation is that bad because it's so much worse for others.
V, thank you so much for your time. I mean, you look great. I don't think COVID-19 has ever looked better. So,
Thank
um,
you.
yeah, please keep us posted on when your second negative comes out, and I'm sure myself and everyone else will be cheering you along. You have your own YouTube channel, correct?
I do. It's so funny because I just started it while here in isolation.
Okay. This is like the perfect time to start a channel. Like Hollywood isn't dropping movies. I've already finished all of Netflix. So like people are looking for things to watch. So this is the best time to I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to drop the link to her channel right here. Be sure to check it out. And I'm gonna ask her if she wants me to put her Instagram or anything like that. So I'm gonna put all of her stuff right here. Be sure to follow her along, send her your well wishes and everything like that and your prayers. Again, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.